The Old Testament and New Testament Library from Westminster John Knox is a massive collection that's available in Accordance and one that I highly recommend you add to your Accordance library. It contains an Old Testament library commentary currently at 31 volumes. And for example, if I'm studying Psalm 23, I can pull up the Old Testament library commentary and I can read Psalm 23 in the commentary. There's some footnotes that compares some of the various Bible translations. Plus, it also gives me a verse by verse commentary with very rich, in depth discussion on each passage and even breaks down some of the literary forms. In addition to the Old Testament commentary, there are some Old Testament library companion volumes available in the series. For example, here is Eichroth's Old Testament Theology and the chapter on the nature of the covenant God. I personally read through this during my biblical theology PhD program in a reading seminar, and it was a very rich discussion on covenant with regard to the narrative of Old Testament theology. And it's just a very rich, in depth discussion that you'll want to add and read in your Accordance library. Moving on to the New Testament, we're here in Revelation 19, starting at verse 17. And if I study this, we have the New Testament library commentary as well. And again, it's including the scripture passage there, and it's also giving us a verse by verse explanation of the biblical passage. Greek terms are transliterated, so they're very easy to read for the non specialist in Greek, and you're going to get some very rich discussion on each passage as well. And in addition, the New Testament library also comes with some companion volumes. This is Paul Meniere's Images of the Church in the New Testament. This is also a volume that I read during my systematic theology side of my PhD program. Here's the chapter on the people of God, and again, very rich discussions on the biblical passages. So, with this collection, you're going to get a solid commentary on both the Old and New Testament. You're also going to get some great companion volumes to take your studies of the Old Testament or the New Testament even further. Resources I've personally used during my PhD program and resources you're going to want to have in your Accordance library. So check out the Old Testament library, New Testament library bundle available in Accordance today. It's a great addition to your Accordance library and one I personally recommend.